About 2 decades ago, I got my first exposure to private radio networks as we were trying to convince a police force to use cellular data to transmit key information. Now, that seems dated, as virtually all police forces have incorporated cellular data in some form or another. Before that, all data and voice traffic was sent on closed private networks. Private radio, or private network IoT, is still quite big, not only in public safety, but in areas like mining, oil and gas, and many remote and industrial applications. It is the optimal choice for many low-power applications, like those extremely remote ones. It's often easier to find support for many industrial protocols and port options, although I will say that many industrial-grade cellular routers now have made their way into this space and can often compete very well if there's cell coverage. One recent trend has emerged: private LTE networks. These may be ideal for cities, police forces, and utility companies. On the negative side, you're running your own network. Do you have the time, expertise, available land for towers, and redundancy plans to do such a thing? Depending on what you're doing, you may find your selection of devices is much smaller than on other networks like 4G or Cat-M. In short, the idea of having your own network is something that many will investigate, but few will move forward on. With cell carriers offering better speeds, capacity, and coverage than ever before, it has become a difficult business case to make. However, if you're looking for maximum control and security, and have the willingness to put in the effort, it may make a lot of sense. This includes a municipality. Many have looked at networks like LoRa, while other ones are looking to launch their own LTE network for workers. It will be interesting to see how many do this with the upcoming launch of Band 14. Similarly, many utility companies have hundreds of thousands of assets in a particular city. Most use a combination of short-haul radio and cellular to bring the data back for processing. It'll be fun to see which way they go. Do they stick with what they have? Do they embed Cat-M? Or do they run their own network? As mentioned earlier, hub-and-spoke applications have many assets that all use the same connection point to get access to the internet. However, unlike the example of a car dealership looking for their keys, some assets in the field can be miles apart. I think some may choose to use private radio technology to backhaul the data from the remote device to the hub. Finally, we always talk about how IoT is all about data, but it's important to remember that many deployments use a combination of voice and data, like in the case of a remote police officer. Private radio is still preferred by many for voice-based traffic. I'm curious to see how many new cellular technologies, as well as offerings like Sigfox, change the mind of many companies when it comes to running their own networks.